You're watching the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. The final week of the college basketball season is here, and in Abilene, Texas tonight, it's a matchup in the WAC between DIXST State and Abilene Christian. Let's take a look at the standings going in on this final Thursday of the year. New Mexico State fighting for the top spot, a chance at a five-way tie there. Abilene Christian currently in the 7th spot at 9-7, and they're keeping their eye on Utah Valley's game tonight against Grand Canyon. There's still a ton to be decided. As we say, welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle along with Cohen Carpenter, Coy Oslin coming up as well. Well, ACU, a lot on the line tonight. They need a win and a Utah Valley loss, and DIXST State trying to play spoiler here tonight.
DIXST State trying to play spoiler, but this is mid-major basketball. This is the WAC conference, so anyone can beat anyone. Looking for an exciting game here tonight.
Yeah, can't wait for this one to happen. Let's take a look at our impact players. We're looking in the paint. Hunter Schofield for DIXST State, Arion Simmons for Abilene Christian.
Very similar players here, both among the top scorers on their team, both leading their team in rebounds. Arion Simmons is an electric force for this ACU team. He's going to be big down the road, especially heading into playoffs for this Wildcat squad.
Can't wait for that matchup in the paint. This is the second meeting this year between these two teams. For more on that, let's send it over to Coy Oslin.
Zach Cohen, this is the second time these two teams have ever faced off. The first time taking place just 8 weeks ago, where ACU won 64-50. This time the teams are on two different completely ends of the spectrum schedule-wise. ACU looking forward to a conference tournament appearance, and the Trailblazers trying to make a bit of a spurt and try to take down the Wildcats and make them lose their chances of holding on to that 6th seed in the conference tournament. Guys, back to you.
Coy, thank you very much. DIXST State at 6-10 in the league, and Abilene Christian at 9-7. A big game on a Thursday night. Awkward jump there to get things going. Abilene Christian controls the tap. Off we go from Abilene, Texas. A change to the starting five for ACU. Cameron Steele starting for the first time since January 20th. Number 5 in white. DIXST State's 5, a ton of height in the lineup. Good in the guard. There's Simmons for ACU. Then you see Leader, Pope, Stain, and Schofield, our impact player. First touch is a turnover. DIXST State trying to get it the other way, and taken by Makai Morris, who's got it at this end for ACU. And he's got a steal and a 3, a couple of possessions into the contest.
Quick start to this one, and it's going to be interesting to see how Brett Tanner, how that decision to start Cameron Steele in this one, because Tobias Cameron has been electric the few games that he's started. It'll be interesting to see how that affects this one here tonight.
Well, and Steele was quite the impact player the last time these two teams played on January 1st, dropping 23 and 10, a double-double in St. George, Utah.
And like you mentioned, a lot of height on this DIXST State roster.
Schofield, one of them, and one.
Yeah, you're going to see it right there, and maybe that's one of the decisions behind the Steele move. Steele, one of the taller players for this ACU roster, going to add a little bit of defense, kind of guarding those 6', 6'6", 6'8" guys that DIXST State has.
Just lob it up to the big fella right there. Yeah, 2 guys at 6'6", and 2 at 6'8" in the starting 5 for DIXST State. The and 1 for Schofield, the leading scorer for the Trailblazers at 15 points a game.
Kind of the DIXST State version of Arion Simmons. He can really score it from anywhere close. He's got a good mid-range, and he's leading the team in rebounds, as he should be standing there at 6'8".
Abilene Christian, the top scoring offense in the WAC this year. Mason for 3, no good. And a lot of that stems from their top-ranked defense that gets out and scores off the turnover. Schofield was stripped, and then the ball's out of bounds, and it'll stay at this end.
And Schofield, that's going to be the power play to watch this entire game. Is going to see Schofield driving. How much attention is he going to draw from that ACU defense when he gets down low?
Schofield had 10 in the game that happened over 2 months ago. Hard to know if that game even really matters 2 months later in the season. Ball's loose. No one better at that than Abilene Christian. As the ball heads out of bounds, it'll stay with DIXST State. And head coach John Judkins, 17th year in St. George, Utah, 29th as a head coach, 10 away from 600. He has been around a long time, had 12 straight winning seasons up until last year, and now has this team at 13-16 in year number 2 as a Division I program. Just 5 to shoot. Isaiah Pope gonna kick it. This is a 3, no good from Stain.
Look for ACU to leave it all out on the floor defensively here tonight. They've been doing it all season, but especially coming down the stretch, playing for that 6th seed and that first round bye in the playoffs.
Cameron Steele. That's a guy they're going to need down the stretch and into the postseason next week.
Cameron Steele, we mentioned his height before, and his scoring versatility is very prevalent as well. You see him shooting from 3 there.
Defender goes, and Pope hits from downtown.
Isaiah Pope, not one of the leading scorers on this squad, but when he needs to, he can get it done.
Sophomore out of Yorba Linda, California. Simmons is open. Already the 6th three-point attempt combined between the two to get the evening started. Pope, he's bumped, and down he goes. And on the other side, it's first-year head coach Brett Tanner, Abilene Christian, taking over for Joe Golding after he moves on to UTEP after 10 seasons. And Tanner, the first-year head man, has this team poised for a top 7 seed in the WAC tournament next week. And as we mentioned, their eye is on the 6th seed. Off the foot of Cameron Gooden, Damian Daniels nearly stole it. Now it's taken away. It's Pope, he's open, off the scramble. No good on the 3, into the arms of Leader for 2.
Dixie State's gonna somehow come away with a score there, but we were just talking about Brett Tanner. The pride and joy of this squad is that defense. They're gonna be fighting for it, especially with Damian Daniels now on the court.
Steele on Schofield, fun matchup. There's a ton of fun one-on-one matchups tonight. 8 to shoot for Mason. The lefty takes on the traffic, and the foul's gonna go on Pope.
Corian Mason, one of the more versatile scorers on this ACU squad. He's leading the team in points per game. He had 19 in that loss against SFA, and he can really get it done. But what he's really especially good at, and we saw that play right there, is getting to the free throw line, and when he gets there, he makes it. Look for that more, especially when you get down the stretch.
Corian Mason, the super senior, COVID senior, if you will. Out of Oklahoma City, third-year Wildcat, will play his final 2 games in this building this week. As a member of the ACU team, him and 4 other seniors in their final week as Wildcats. Senior day will be Saturday for this team against Tarleton. Back and forth we go. Foul on Mason at this end as he knocks down Frank Stain.
And we've seen really great job by this Wildcat defense so far, getting into those passing lanes, getting their hands on the ball, not always coming away with it, but getting those deflections, interrupting that Dixie State offense is going to be crucial in this one.
Dixie State coming off of back-to-back losses at home to California Baptist and Seattle U. Last win came in an upset of Utah Valley on February the 19th as they opened the month of March. ACU's coming off of a buzzer-beating loss to SFA last Saturday. Corner 3. Offline from Leader, out of bounds to ACU.
There's another great play. Good job there on defense by Cameron Steele. Getting to the who would have been wide open shooter in the corner, kind of shutting him down, forcing the errant shot. Saving 3 points.
Damian Daniels, a senior out of Kansas City. Makai Morris thought about it. Floater, got it.
There's Makai Morris as well, kind of with that same move, Corian Mason. There's just so many scores, so many potent scores on this Wildcat squad that Dixie State's going to have to account for.
Pope, deflected. Chance to run. Cameron on the attack from Morris.
And that's why Tobias Cameron earned his starting spot these past few games ever since January, as he can get plays like that. But how about Makai Morris getting the bat down, getting the ball down the court, and getting the assist? Good pass to Tobias Cameron.
Another loose ball. Grabbed by Gooden. Feeds for Schofield. Fouled from behind. He's going to shoot 2 after our first timeout. Abilene Christian with the early 3-point lead. The defense to the offense early on. inside Celebration Hall in this Teague Special Events Center. We're 5 minutes into the night, ACU and DIXST State. Huge game for the Wildcats. What's on the line for them tonight? They need a win, and combined with a Utah Valley loss to Grand Canyon for ACU to try to move up in the seed line as a chance to get a coveted 6th seed in the WAC tournament next week. And if you get a 6th seed or higher, you get a first-round bye. And so you don't have to play day one, and you don't have to play 5 games in 5 days in Las Vegas next week.
And that bye week's crucial. It goes from 5 games in 5 days to 4 games in 4 days, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but you're getting into February, getting into March, and these bodies wear and tear the basketball season. That extra day off is going to be crucial.
Schofield goes 1 out of 2. Jay-Sean Jackson, the freshman number 2, in for ACU. Out of bounds it goes. Emmanuel Allen, number 25 in white, on the floor as well for the Wildcats. Noah Gonsalves checks in for DIXST State, number 11 in Navy. Jackson, rise and fire. Splash.
Jay-Sean Jackson, the freshman, one of the more electric players on this squad. Again, another potent scoring threat. Looking for a bright future here with the Wildcats.
Hand off to Stain here with 13 to shoot it. Cameron defending. Ball's been on the perimeter the whole possession, and a bailout foul with 7 to shoot it, and it goes on Cameron.
ACU has done a great job here on defense of switching the man, especially in this man defense. They're real quick, they're real energetic, especially you saw it there with Tobias Cameron, not allowing for the open shot, closing down those passing lanes, forcing DIXST State offense into some bad scenarios.
Allen takes his seat, and the 6'11" UWAT guy checks in for ACU to try to create some height advantage for the Wildcats, the smallest team height-wise in all of Division I college basketball, but they do that better than anybody. Taking it away, it's Daniels. Guy squares up on Schofield. Backdoor. How did Daniels get open through the D? What a fight from Simmons.
How did Daniels get open, and how did Arion Simmons find him? What a pass there from Simmons, one of the assist leaders on this team. He really does everything on the offensive side of the ball.
6-point lead is the largest for either side so far. Gooden kicks, that's in the corner. Leader, no good. On the floor it goes, and the jump ball in the arrow stays at this end.
Again, that's just classic Wildcat basketball, not letting the opposing offense breathe. Good job there of shutting down the paint. A little drive was attempted there, but nothing to it. Forces the jump ball.
Jacob Nichols into the game for DIXST State. Reggie Miller returning to the Abilene Christian lineup. DIXST State, final 2 games of their year. Schofield off the inbound. Able to get it to go. They will be at Grand Canyon on Saturday to close out their season as they're postseason ineligible in the midst of that 4-year ban as they transition from Division II to Division I. Tobias Cameron off the hands of Miller. Gooden, this kid can fly to the rim. No good. Blocked away, but a foul here. 3 bodies on the floor.
Just a mass of bodies down there below the rim. As we're going to take a look at the replay, almost had the dunk. Good defense there by Arion Simmons. Just a scrum for the ball there. Coming away with the foul.
Cameron Gooden returning to Texas. The junior out of Frisco.
Cameron Gooden, only 5'11", really stands out in this DIXST State lineup. We mentioned the height before, but he obviously makes up for it with his athleticism.
Gooden played at a couple of junior colleges, Kilgore and Chipola, and now in his 2nd year with DIXST State. This kid has scored in double digits 20 times this year. 3 20-point games. Misses both. Dixie's 2 for 5 to start from the foul line. 69% as a team this year. Allen mid-range, got it.
That's been his bread and butter all year. Manuel Allen has been a lead from that mid-range to long 2 range. Shot that's growing more uncommon in modern basketball.
Back door and turned over. Gonsalves had it. Unable to keep possession. And ACU will have it after the 4th Dixie turnover. Allen on the move, kept his footing.
Manuel Allen. Versatile as ever as that ball goes flying out of bounds. Bad pass there.
That pressure defense just speeds you up. ACU, as we talk about a lot throughout the course of the season, forced the most turnovers, are number 1 in turnover margin, and are number 1 in steals per game in all of college basketball.
That's what's so great about the press defense is Steele takes a 3.
Yeah, look at that.
So great about the press defense is you've got to make your opponent think about every move. They've got a man on them at all times, and that just mentally wears you down throughout a game. And you start making some of those mistakes, start chucking a few balls out of bounds, and you get a few more offensive possessions if you're the Wildcats.
The 6'9" Trey Edmonds out there for Dixie State, number 2. Now Gonzalez on the move, and the 3 is an air ball from Nichols. That's away we go to a timeout. Abilene Christian offensively has made 6 of their last 7, and they have an 8-point lead. Back in Abilene, Texas, 8-point lead for ACU. Let's talk more about Dixie State and send it over to Coy.
In Dixie State's second season in NCAA Division I, the Trailblazers have found themselves in the bottom half of the WAC standings with a 6-10 record. Though they are still in their postseason eligibility period till 2024-2025 season, the team hasn't exactly had a competitive down season with big victories over GCU and in-state rival Utah Valley, which for a team in a relatively new division shows that they got a lot to look forward to. Guys?
Coy, thank you very much. Yeah, they're coming off of, that's their last win was against Utah Valley, a team that's going to be a potential top 6 seed next week in WAC Vegas. We've seen upsets and teams that you don't think are going to win night in and night out in this league. And Dixie State, when they get eligible, they'll be fighting for all those seed positionings as well. I think the excitement around this program is pretty high going into this WAC league that they joined a year ago. Them and Tarleton joining in 2020.
And that's what kind of Coach Tanner was talking about in his broadcast. In mid-major basketball, there's going to be a foul called on that play. Anyone can really beat anyone, especially in the WAC conference, and we've seen that especially down the stretch when games kind of get more desperate as they're vying for playoff positioning. Teams become dangerous.
7th team foul on ACU, so this is 1-and-1 opportunity for Pope. Isaiah Pope, the sophomore out of California. Second year with Dixie State. Back in the starting lineup after not starting the game against Seattle U Saturday. That broke a stretch of 12 straight starts. Now back in it tonight. Simmons was open, but Steele's backing down on Morris now. Miller's gonna launch. Rebound to Edmonds.
There's Damian Daniels with his oh, how did he come up with that one?
Look at this defense. Miller at the other end for a deuce.
That's Damian Daniels' signature move right there, is he'll get on a fender and then something happens, you don't quite see it, it goes too fast, and he just comes up with the ball.
Edmonds on the baseline. They can set up the offense and try to make something happen, but the turnovers is what did Dixie in the last time they saw ACU on January 1st. Morris, Steele, blocked away. Edmonds at 6'9". Pass is tipped away. A lot happening on the sideline there. There's a lot going on. It turns into a 3 and an air ball. Another one for Dixie State. Gonsalves no good.
Dixie State's been ice cold from downtown in this one with a few bad misses getting the crowd into it.
Lob for Steele. Nothing doing there.
However, on the defensive side of the ball, they've done a real good job of locking down the paint, much thanks to that height.
And here's another loose ball. And it's Daniels again, and into the arms it goes. This is just all over the place. Turns into a 3 for Gonzalez.
Gonna take a little breather here, slowing it down as they walk past the court. Some time to think about what just happened.
So Dixie State turned it over 27 times in the January 1 loss at home to ACU. They scored just 50 points. It was really one of their lower offensive outputs this season. That Wildcat defense just does that to everybody. Steal inside, no.
Nothing to it for the Wildcats down in the paint. So there's another foul called up there.
On Daniels.
Yeah, we're gonna
Mass chaos here. Let's take a
look at this mosh pit.
I mean, what?
It's a whole lot of something.
And that's happened about 2 or 3 times in the last 40 seconds.
And much of it thanks to that man right there, Damian Daniels. Shortest guy on the court, causing the most chaos.
And so this reason makes me wonder, can they do this 5 times in 5 days next week?
Exactly.
Nobody plays harder than this ACU team.
And especially when it comes down to crunch time, that's what Coach Brett Tanner loves in this squad is they have fight, they've got grit in them. So when you go to WAC Vegas, you go to Las Vegas, and you're playing for playoffs there, so you're going to see a lot more of this style defense.
Meanwhile, Gonzalez at the line to make it a 3-point game, and this is a 7-0 Dixie State run that has spanned a minute and a half.
Wildcats have tried to drive down to the paint the last few times. They're 1 for 7 in field goals.
UOT guy turns around short.
Going to see a lot more of UOT guy and a lot more of Cameron Steele this game. So far, at least one of those has been on the court at all times.
On the baseline, a little bit of contact that appeared. Muli Bea had it taken away. Guy, the runner, and one.
UOT guy almost finished with a dunk right there, but decided to play it safe. A little more gentle with it. So he rolls it in the hoop.
Runs the floor beautifully.
Great shot there, gets the N1. Chance for a 3-point play.
Yep, UOT guy, the junior out of Australia. Spent 2 seasons at South Plains College. 3rd year in Texas, 1st year with Abilene Christian. Ends that 7-0 run with a 3-point play.
And UOT guy has been a great support player for this Wildcat squad all season. Hasn't seen a start yet, but when Coach Tanner needs him, he goes in and produces.
Baseline, Schofield.
Not a lot of shots falling for Dixie State. They have managed to shorten the lead up a bit as there's yet another foul called.
I think it's on Schofield working on UOT guy. That'll take us to a timeout. Abilene Christian with a 6-point lead here in a crazy first half.
The world needs more light bringers and courageous leaders who inspire us, game changers and risk takers who never play small, creative thinkers and God seekers who uplift us. You see, the future is ours to create. We hold it in our hearts. We mold it with our hands. We light the fire within.
I am a wife and a mother of 4. I work a full-time job and do catering on the side to help our family make all the ends meet. For years, I've dreamt about finishing my bachelor's degree, and I finally found ACU Online. The core values of the school really lined up with my faith, and I'm telling you, it is the only way I could move forward with my busy schedule. It's possible. You can work and get your education. ACU made it possible for me.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
In my small town, we focus on faith, family, and football. My journey of faith has defined who I am and whose I am. Knowing that, what could possibly stand in my way? I authored a book titled Life After Grace to encourage others to live out their purpose with their faith. I'm just a small town girl with bigger than the sky dreams. That's why I'm getting my degree online with ACU.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
The 2022 WAC basketball tournament presented by Hercules Tires takes place March 8th through the 12th at the Michelob Ultra Arena and the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. For more information on the road to WAC Vegas, visit wacsports.com. That's next week. Teams leave Monday, be in Vegas all week long. For the WAC tournament, it's going to be a special week for sure. 5 rounds in 5 days. Allen put back. This has been a physical, active first half. You're loving everything we're seeing out there right now.
This is the best type of basketball right here, and we can't talk about that Wildcat defense enough, but one of the consequences come in the form of the 8 fouls that they already have, putting this Dixie squad in a bonus.
Leader back out there. Simmons doing what he does best. Defense to offense, a hesitation. I didn't know if he was going to lay it up or not. He did.
Well, he had all the time in the world to do whatever he wanted because he came out of nowhere like a freight train, bringing it down the court. That's Arion Simmons basketball right there.
Andre Mulibea into the game, the freshman forward out of West Valley City, Utah, number 4. He's got it in the corner, and he'll hit the 3.
3 ball has not been falling for Dixie State so far in this one. If they want to get back into this one so far, down by 7, going to have to start hitting a lot more of those shots.
3 out of 9 from downtown. Allen for a triple. Loose. It's Morris. ACU's 3rd triple.
Kai Morris, one of the other seniors on this squad. Again, they're scoring all around. Makai Morris, definitely not a stranger to a few 15, 20-point games. More defense. Wow.
Another turnover. It's the 8th of the half. And it's Allen. Oh, look at this through the lane.
Over, under, Euro step doesn't get more textbook than that. That was beautiful work there, especially on the passes. A little 2-on-3 situation down there in the paint, but Emmanuel Allen got it to go.
Leader. ACU has 33 points. 18 of them are off of turnovers. It's the majority of the offense. It is Morris. He's hacked. Free throws coming up.
There's another drive to the paint right there, and this Wildcat offense obviously is playing at its best, especially in this one when they're moving fast. Makai Morris, you see it right there, gets the foul.
12-point lead for ACU. Let's talk about ACU senior Corian Mason and send it over to Coy.
Last Thursday, ACU went to San Antonio to face the Lamar Cardinals. ACU would win by 35 points with Brett Tanner's offense holding the team to just 42. However, during the game, ACU senior guard Corian Mason scored 1,000 career points, becoming the 6th ACU player to do that in the D1 era, further cementing his legacy as a Wildcat. Guys?
Coy, thank you. Yeah, Corian, Ranger College, and then over to Abilene Christian. It's been spectacular in his time with ACU, a 1,000-point career scorer. Decided to come back for one more year. Him and Miller and Morris, those 3, all had 1 extra year of eligibility if they wanted it. Didn't have to, obviously, as COVID seniors decided to all make one last run. And they're ready to go for next week's tournament. Morris at the line, good on the first, the senior out of Philadelphia.
If you're the Wildcats right now, got a pretty hefty lead so far. Best thing you can do is keep your foot on the gas, and by doing that, you can't slow down on offense or defenses. Tobias Cameron takes a fall there.
Is there a foul here?
I was worried about the cheerleaders. They're on top of each other. They could have fall down like dominoes there if Tobias Cameron went down hard.
Looks like no foul call, so good there. Just incidental contact.
That's what Tobias Cameron is known for. Incidental contact.
It is now a 14-3 run for Abilene Christian in 2.5 minutes.
Thanks in
On a
part to this
current-
press defense right here.
On a current 7-0 stretch, trying to break it, Schofield. I don't know if that's who he was trying to get it to with Stain. Oh, charge.
Take a look at the replay. That's Emmanuel Allen with a good defense.
Frank Stain with the offensive foul.
Yeah. And Emmanuel Allen, good job right there, taking the shoulder. Multiple ways to block a shot. You see one right there.
Simmons getting positioning, foul first. It's on Schofield, his second.
Both sides racking up the fouls now, 8 and 7 respectively.
So this will be 1-1 chance for Simmons as Edmonds returns to the Dixie State lineup.
This definitely takes the advantage of the Wildcats though. Shooting well over 70% from free throw line. Can't say the same for Dixie State.
Second in the WAC at that category at almost 75%. Arion Simmons out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Playing in his 86th career game, the third-year Wildcat. Goes 1 for 2. And now Dixie State trying to stop the bleeding here. Figuring it out at this end offensively. They've turned it over 9 times. Loose, out of bounds, it'll stay here. This ACU defense, we've talked about how good they are at taking the ball away. And they're coming off of a game a week ago tonight that they forced 37 turnovers against Lamar, 3 off of the NCAA record. That's what this defense does. It's absolutely crazy.
And when they find a weakness in your offense, they will expose it. We've seen it here tonight. Dixie State hasn't handled the press well. Wildcats haven't come off it.
Edmonds, 5 to shoot, loose, off of him. It'll go off of Edmonds and go over to Abilene Christian.
That's Cameron Steele right there. Got his hand on the ball. Guarded by Tobias Cameron.
Off that fingertip through the legs. And out of bounds, rather. Under 5 to go until halftime. Mason on the move. Stays here.
A little bit of a slower approach on offense than what we've seen in the past few minutes. Wildcats playing with the lead, but this is something Coach Brett Tanner emphasizes. They play with the lead a lot. They need to learn to keep it.
Allen turning. That's batted back out by Steele. ACU now not afraid to slow this down at all. Jackson, no. Rebound to Leader. This has been the issue for Dixie State. They haven't scored in over 2 minutes, and this is a jump ball.
Reggie Miller on defense, and they're still tangled up.
Miller and Stain getting tangled.
And we had a good view of that here from where we're sitting, and it looked like Reggie Miller got control of the ball, was about to run away with it, but Stain had other plans, locked him up.
Interlocked arms.
Refs had to unstick him there.
Turnover number 11 for the Trailblazers. Jackson, the youngster, freshman out of San Antonio. 8 to shoot it. Allen, jump ball.
Jump ball call there.
Timeout on the floor. Abilene Christian with the 15-point lead. They're on a 15-3. Coming up, the ESPN halftime report. Joseph Chapa and Jalen Garrett in the studio. An ACUTV feature on Wildcat senior Reggie Miller, and we break down the first half with highlights and analysis. All coming up on the ESPN halftime report. It's the guys hanging out, getting ready for the studio show here at the break. 15-point lead for Abilene Christian. What's on the line again? An ACU win and a Utah Valley loss moves Abilene Christian to the 6th seed going into the final day of the season on Saturday. That's everything for Abilene Christian. That is what we all keeping our eye on here tonight. Another scramble for a loose ball. There's been about a million of them tonight.
And Dixie State having a rough time with this press defense, as a lot of offenses had who play the Wildcats.
Foul at this end. It's on Cameron Steele. Free throws coming for the Trailblazers. It'll be a 1-and-1 as Makai Morris and Arion Simmons are back in for ACU. It'll put Gooden at the line.
But that defense that the Wildcats have been showing off so far as we wind down the first half, it's chaotic, it's hectic. They love to get the ball on the court and turn it into a rugby match, and when they do that, they usually win a lot of those possessions thanks to like a Damian Daniels and the more athletic, stronger guys on the team. Sets up those easy, fast break points.
Gooden, a 71% free throw shooter this year. He was honorable mention All-WAC a season ago. Second year with Dixie State. Cuts it back to 13.
Good pass there.
Morris is blocked. Second block tonight for Edmonds.
Good job by the Manuel Allen right there facilitating that play, but even better defense by Edmonds.
Backdoor and a foul. They try to get it to Jacob Nichols. He's going to shoot a couple after the foul on Arion Simmons. Let's go back to that Edmonds block.
Like we said, great pass to get it to Morris, but whew, it's hard to score against 6'8", 6'9". Not much you can do right there if you're Makai Morris.
Nichols, a junior out of Gilbert, Arizona. He's got two. It's double bonus for the rest of the half for Dixie State. Good player, good student as well. Had the highest GPA in the former RMAC conference, Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Division II, a couple of years ago in Dixie's final D2 year. Fantastic student.
ACU right now working with their shortest lineup on the court so far.
Faraha Kado-Dedu's got it. Number 15 in white. Cameron, he was lined up and ready. The three's no good. Allen's gonna keep it, try to save it in, and he was out of bounds.
It's like Manuel Allen thought otherwise. Argued with the ref a little bit there, but to no avail.
2.5 until the break. Dixie State trying to close this thing and get back maybe within single digits before halftime.
Wildcats doing a great job of switching right now.
Gonsalves, he'll take the three. No bounce, and Daniels had it taken out of bounds, and it'll stay with ACU.
It's a great job of switching. It really makes it look like this Wildcat defense is one step ahead of this Dixie State offense at all times. They've tried to pick guys open, they've tried to pass guys open, but none of it's really been working to great success here.
Cameron trying to feed a teammate, and it's stolen. Gonsalves now taken back away. A turnover for a turnover. Now a reset of sorts. Make sure the clock is correct.
Going into the final minutes of the first half here. ACU's definitely taking a slower approach to the offense. Less fast breaks, less driving down, more setting things up, opening those passing lanes, looking for the open shot. Tobias Cameron had one earlier, couldn't come up with it, but looking for more of those.
Reggie Miller into the game during that stoppage. 5 to shoot it. Kado-Dedu adjusting, no good. And out of bounds, and I think they're going to switch this. It's going to go to ACU.
This is a good move here by Faraha Kado-Dedu. He goes up, switches the arm midair. Just couldn't get the shot to fall.
They're saying off of Nichols. Morris, rise and fire, got it.
That's what happens when you give Mekhi Morris even a modicum of space there from that long 2 range. Almost from the free throw line, and he drains it.
Ends a stretch of 6 straight misses for ACU. Closing in on a minute to go. Edmonds spinning and had it stripped. And then bumps Miller. That defense again.
Edmonds working on a 2-on-1 right here. But Reggie Miller is right there. Manages to strip that ball without getting fouled and then takes the foul.
And all it does is it gets you more angry, and then you get angrier, and you keep rushing, and it just gets you out of a mental mindset that you don't want to be in. This defense just messes with you. It is the most frustrating thing for opposing offenses.
And yeah, back to what we were talking about earlier, that press defense has your players constantly thinking, where is this ball going to go? Who's in the middle? Who's in the passing lane? Is this shot open enough? Should I take it? After a while, those mental errors start to stack up, especially when you're playing a high-energy team, as we see right there.
Offensive foul, Nichols' illegal screen. So they tried to hand it for Brock Gilbert, and it was resulting in a turnover right there, the contact with Daniels. Possession back to ACU.
Been all over the court on defenses. There's another stoppage of play.
Clock again, they'll fix that.
It's been a long final 2 minutes here. Had a few whistles blown, but.
And there hasn't been much offense lately. 3 turnovers in 2 minutes for Dixie. They haven't scored in almost 2.5. ACU has made just 1 of their last 7.
Dixie State head coach Judkins not very happy, and the crowd's letting him know that.
Baseline, Daniels pulls up. No. Allen stripped. Fouled. He's shooting 2.
Emmanuel Allen's been great so far, where not a lot of the rest of the offense has had success in the paint, especially against some of the taller players of this Dixie State defense. Emmanuel Allen's been consistently getting down into the paint, drawing fouls, shooting those long 2s. Great production all around.
Offensive rebound number 7 for Abilene Christian right there. Chance at a couple of free throws here for Allen.
And definitely something you wouldn't expect coming into this one. More offensive rebounds on the ACU side of the ball, especially considering these 2 lineups.
So you take the turnovers and the offensive boards. Abilene Christian has taken 35 shot attempts to Dixie State's 18. And from the floor, they've doubled them up.
A lot of that is just thanks to defense, because they've been stealing possessions left and right from this Dixie State offense. They haven't even gotten a half-court line at most of these times.
Stain inside, nice little step and convert. And there's no shot clock, and ACU can hold for 1.
Good move there by Stain. Shortening that massive ACU lead just a little bit before heading into the locker room. Of course, Wildcats can change that here.
Oh, ball stolen. Gilbert, he is fouled. As it's a shooting foul. It'll be 3 free throws if that's what they'll call. Let's see. No, they're going to call it on the floor.
If that is what Gilbert was going for, that is a very smart basketball play right there. Recognizing that you're going to get fouled, going up for the shot, but maybe not. Either way, chance to add on, maybe bite into this lead here a little bit for Dixie State.
They're going to put the foul on the floor, so it's 2 free throws, not 3. Brock Gilbert, the lefty, junior out of Syracuse, Utah, and a timeout called with 0.8 in the half. Use it or lose it timeout for John Judkins, Dixie. They were wondering if it could have been a 3-shot foul instead of 2. They call it double bonus on the floor, but Coach Judkins was wanting the heave there from Gilbert. You could argue he was trying to get a shot off in the midst of being fouled there in the final half a second or whatever.
If you're not inside of the mind of Gilbert right there, you can't really know. So it's a judgment call right there from the refs, and Judkins is having a conversation with the ref right now. That really could have gone either way. Again, you saw the arms kind of flailed there at the end, but at this point, not much you can do to change it. Here's Gilbert, and you can.
So the question is it a foul while he's shooting that?
Yeah.
Hard to say.
But
Could
Either
go either
way,
way.
it's just 1 point.
Gilbert, no good, and that'll cut it to halftime. Abilene Christian is 16-0 when leading at the break this season. They've got a 40-27 lead over Dixie State. It's time for the ESPN halftime report. Joseph and Jalen, guys, all yours.
Another edition of WAC Hoops here on a Thursday night, and this game started out very competitive, but ACU, powered by their 23 points off of turnovers, ran away with it, are now up by a decent amount. So Jalen, what does the Wildcats have to do to avoid a Dixie State comeback?
Yeah, Joseph, like you said, 23 points off of turnovers. That just shows ACU why not only they're one of the best defenses in the country, but they are also the best scoring offense in the Western Athletic Conference.
More analysis and more after the break. The ACUTV Or Studio for this ESPN halftime report. I'm Joseph Chapa alongside my man Jalen Garrett. And Jalen, it seems like ACU is going back to that identity of Wildcat basketball, forcing turnovers, getting out on the break. So what were your overall reactions in the first half?
Yeah, looking at this game in the first half, we saw that ACU was really getting a lot of points off of turnovers. We saw they got 23 points off of turnovers, and that's huge for them because not only are they first in the WAC in turnover margin, but that they are also first in the conference in scoring offense.
And now with the playoff atmosphere ramping up, we take a look at the WAC standings, and with ACU really in that 7th seed right here, but they're only going to stay at the 6th or 7th seed, and unfortunately if you're a Dixie State fan, you're not going to WAC Vegas next week. So Jalen, what do these next couple of games mean for ACU in terms of the standings and seedings of what's going to happen in the conference tournament next week?
That is huge for them. If they get that 6th seed, they don't have to play until the semifinals. They can get those extra days of practice and run-throughs in practice, and that'll be important for them, especially when in the first top 4 seeds, they can get extra practice and can keep it rolling for them.
You're absolutely right, Jalen. And with the team that ACU is competing against for that 6th seed is none other than Utah Valley, which is a team that they beat earlier in January. But Utah Valley is currently on a 6-game win streak, and they're going to be playing against Grand Canyon University tonight, which we know is another top team in the conference. So Jalen, as far as Utah Valley goes, you got to think for Coach Tanner's program, what does it mean for that win to be owning that tiebreaker?
Yes, that is huge for them. Brett Tanner has always talked about how getting extra practice, especially against a better conference this year, will help them out, and getting that extra practice in will be beneficial for them.
You're spot on, man. Well, thanks for tuning in to our halftime report. Now let's throw it out to a player spotlight featuring Reggie Miller and ACUTV's very own Kerry Johnston.
You're in a little bit of an interesting situation this year. You were given an optional extra year of eligibility from the NCAA due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ultimately, why did you decide to use it?
The fun that I had the last 2 years here. Why not have a 3rd year? You know, playing college basketball is not always guaranteed, so when you do get the opportunity, I feel like it's a guarantee for me to take it. Also, this team, the culture here is something to be a part of. After the last 2 years, I couldn't wait to come back and get an extra year.
How has it been moving from the Southland Conference to the Western Athletic Conference?
The travel's been a whole lot different. I think that's the biggest thing for us, is travel. A lot more flying, a lot less bus rides. So now you get used to the flying, and the bus rides are now bad, 2 times as worse because you're not used to it. The competition level is a big difference as well. You have to bring your A game every night, or you can get popped on any given night. We learned that earlier this year, as you've seen. But yeah, I think those are the 2 biggest things.
What is it like to have Brett Tanner as your head coach?
He was kind of in a similar role last year, even though he didn't have a title. So it's not really a lot of new things that's going on. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of new things because it's him being the head coach. But as far as him as a person, we know what kind of person he is, which is why we're rooting for him. So it's kind of similar in a sense.
For the past couple years, this team has really hung its hat on defense, and you've been a really big part of that. So what is your defensive mentality?
I think we focus on the little things. Stuff like closing out on the inside shoulder, not letting them go middle, flying out the hole, stuff like that is like stuff that we pride ourselves on, which makes a big difference in our defense. I think some teams just kind of want to keep the ball in front and not really apply pressure. We try to apply pressure all throughout the court.
You guys had a little bit of a rough stretch during conference play, but you guys have been able to turn it around. What allowed you guys to turn it around and get back to winning?
I think after you take a couple losses, you start to question yourself a little bit. And we started to question it more and more, and I think that didn't help us at all. So theoretically, all we did was got back to ourselves, again, playing ACU basketball, realizing what ACU basketball is, and trying to go out there every night and do that. And slowly but surely, we got to get back on the right path.
This past year, you took advantage of the NCAA's interim name, image, and likeness policy and created your own brand, Miller Made Apparel. How has that been going?
It's been going great, actually. I'm ready to come out with some hoodies and some hats in just a couple weeks. The shirts went well. I still have a couple left, not that many, but they were going fast, really more than I expected them to. The ACU community has showed me a lot of support with getting those shirts, so I can really just be thankful at this point.
As you guys head into the latter half of conference play, what do you want to see out of the team?
I just want to see us play ACU basketball. I think if we play ACU basketball every night, it's really hard to beat us. It's really, really difficult to beat us. And we've kind of been getting back to that. I just want to see us keep doing that and having fun. I think over a couple games in the season, we're really having fun as much as we used to, and just us getting back to having fun and playing ACU basketball.
Getting ready for the second half. Abilene Christian in front of Dixie State by 13, 40-27 at the break. Welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle along with Cohen Carpenter. Well, Dixie State led 8-7. They haven't led since. It's been all ACU in the first half.
All ACU, like you said, and a lot of that has been defense leading to offense. Over half of ACU's points has come off of turnovers, and we're seeing scoring from all sides of the ball. Mekhi Morris leading the way with 12 for ACU.
Yeah, you took a look at the numbers there. The turnovers are alarmingly different at 15-14, and then just the volume of shots, 16 more attempts for ACU in the first half, and leading the way, Mekhi Morris for Abilene Christian.
Like we mentioned, Mekhi Morris, and he's been getting it done on the offensive side of the ball as we take a look at his highlights, and the defensive side of the ball as well. Great passes, great defense, and like we mentioned before, great offense leads to great defense, and that leads to a 13-point lead.
Well, let's talk more about Mekhi Morris, and let's send it over to the third member of our team, Coy Oslin.
Guys, you said it, it's been a hot night for Mekhi Morris. This is his first double-digit effort since January 29th when he put up 17 versus the Lamar Cardinals. Of course, tonight he's 4 for 6 shooting and is 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. Guys?
ACU's got it to start the second half. Thank you, Coy. And Arion Simmons gets things started. No good, and the rebound pulled down by Dancel Leader. And now Staines open for a three. Boy, those threes, I mean, they really haven't been close for Dixie State here tonight.
Not really, and that's very disheartening, especially if you're a Dixie State fan. Down by 13, you're going to need a few more of those big plays, but this is a Dixie State team that hasn't shot the three ball fairly well coming into this game. They started off on a hot streak, and they've cooled off ever since. Really haven't found that kick yet.
Middle of the pack in the WAC at three-point shooting at 31%. 3 for 11 tonight. Morris. 8 to shoot for Corian Mason. Rise and fire. No good for the senior. Cameron Steele able to tap it back in.
Great back and forth there. Good passes from the ACU offense. And we're talking about the impact players. We had Arion Simmons. He only has 3 points up until tonight, and there's another steal.
Near
almost
takeaway
by Mekhi Morris. But this is an ACU squad anyone could score.
Schofield, that's the guy I want to see get going for Dixie State here in the second half. Not much going for number 44. Simmons was open initially, now Steele back to work. Has the only bucket, a minute and a half in. Steele catches, connects. He's got the first 5 in the second half.
He made a three earlier, and he's not particularly known for his three-point shooting. He's in here to guard Schofield, but when you leave him open, he's a threat. Demonstrates it right there. Got this Wildcat offense to a hot start here in the second half.
He's got a couple of threes tonight. Here is a near takeaway, a foul first.
Talking about a hot start, the Wildcat defense picking up where they left off. Reggie Miller almost got himself another one right here as we take a look back at the Cameron Steele three. Remains that one, and especially when you talk about getting into the playoffs. And like we were mentioned earlier, there's been production all around from this squad, which if you're Coach Brett Tanner, you got to love that going into WAC Vegas.
Gooden on the move. Leader baseline. First points for Dixie State of the second half.
More slower poach for ACU on offense.
Morris, no. Rebound to Isaiah Pope. Oh, pass picked off. Simmons read that like a book, and now it's a jump ball, and the arrow will stay with Dixie State. Now, I was thinking back to Cameron Steele, that you were talking about him, that they're going to need that and how important that will be. He hit 3 threes at Dixie and is way to 23 points, and he's got 2 of them tonight, so 5 of his 25 three-pointers have come against just Dixie State this year. Leader hit the 2, now hits the 3 with a foul.
It's a good shot there, a chance for a rare 4-point play. They're going to call that foul on Arion Simmons. He may have infringed the landing space. It looks like he does. Didn't get a good shot of the feet right there, but if the defender doesn't give him a chance to fall safely back to the ground, that's going to be a foul. He's going to the line.
Dancel Leader, to junior out of Suriname. Couple of JUCOs, Odessa College and Jacksonville College in Texas. First year with Dixie State.
Leader may play a big role coming down the stretch here. He's got the best three-point shooting percentage on that Dixie State squad. Doesn't shoot the most, but he makes it at the highest clip.
Steele was open off of the transition game for Abilene Christian.
How about Cameron Steele here early on? Not only with the offense, but limiting Schofield, the leading scorer for this Dixie State offense here on defense.
Nice feed. Oh, and Pope missed it from point blank. Schofield fakes it. Dishes, charge. Wipe off the basket from Stain and give the offensive foul to Schofield. It's his 3rd foul tonight.
Schofield coming in a bit too hot here. Doesn't dump it quick enough, and that's just a good textbook charge taken there by Corian Mason, senior leader on this squad.
Nobody does that better than Abilene Christian. And now Mason's got it at this end. 7 points so far. Offensive foul, Allen. Taken by Isaiah Pope.
And also good work there by Isaiah Pope. Credit to where credit is due. Isaiah Pope, not the most traditional spot to take a charging foul right there, but he took it well. Gonna get the turnover here, but ACU back to that press defense.
Gooden and company will bring it up. Lob and the 2 for Schofield.
How did he make that? Makai Morris came flying in out of nowhere.
See Sam Houston with a 19-point win over Tarleton tonight. Sam Houston stays alive for a potential regular season title at 13-5 in league play. Allen, baseline. He's quietly got a double-digit night. Missing there, foul, oh, contact, look at this. Hope everyone's okay. Morris hits the floor hard.
Hits Allen before he hits the floor.
Do a timeout. The lead's a dozen for Abilene Christian. Steele his second 3. .12-point lead for Abilene Christian. 47-35 as Dixie State 3 for their first 6 here in the second half. ACU 3 for their first 7.
Dixie State's going to have to find a hole in this man defense if they want to get back into this one.
Pass nearly too wide. Gooden saves it. Pope, awkward catch, keeps it in as Schofield. Oh, it's an and one.
And exactly, that's the hole that we're talking about. That's great passing right there. Gooden with the hops to save it. Keeps the play alive. Chance for a three-point play as we take a look at the replay.
See how much work it is for them to just get the ball inside like that. Hunter Schofield, though, finishes it off. He'll have a chance for a three-point play into double figures. He's got 10 tonight.
Almost half a dozen perfect passes right there just to get Schofield open.
He's now got 25 double-digit scoring games this year. This is Dixie State's 30th game. Charge, Morris, taken by Schofield, who's playing out there with 3 fouls. Dangerous to try to take a charge in that situation, but it works out.
Especially for the leading scorer, leading rebounder of this team. We take a look at that charge, got both feet planted, that's nice and clean. But again, playing to spoil it right here is Dixie State.
Isaiah Pope, that's an offensive foul. Mason takes another.
Mason's taken a couple of those so far in this contest. He's done a good job keeping himself composed.
So Pope and Schofield each have 3 for Dixie State, and for ACU, Morris, Simmons, and Allen each have 3. Oh, off the hand and head of Tobias Cameron.
Managed to keep that alive.
Steal, rebound. Daniels, yes.
Damian Daniels is the kind of guy you have on your squad. You got him obviously there for defense, but whenever he can chip in on offense too, the more is appreciated. And he can get those jumpers, especially in the mid-range.
Inside, body on the ground was Mason, and Stain at the hoop for 2. And to your point, the veterans, Daniels and Cameron, those are the 2 guys that have been to 2 NCAA tournaments for Abilene Christian. They know what it takes to win this time of year. Mason, oh, it didn't fall, but he's going to shoot a couple.
There's Corian Mason, that's classic right there. That's why you lead this team in scoring. It's a great move right there, adjusting as we go back to that offensive possession from earlier.
And the 3 was no good, but it was not that possession. That was turned into the Daniels jumper. This possession was the reverse layup, and Mason shooting 2.
Just great composure by Corian Mason to get to the foul line, keep his composure going up in the air, past the defender's arms, working the ball around. Just couldn't get it to fall. Play is blown dead here.
Well, I'm talking to Dancel Leader.
Coach Tanner looked confused at first, trying to sort things out.
A warning of sorts. It doesn't appear like a foul's been called.
Well, he's definitely getting a stern talking to, and Teague Center's on their feet letting him hear it.
No idea what happened.
Definitely weren't exchanging pleasantries.
Gooden give and go. Lost it. Is this out of bounds? It is. It's out of bounds.
It's a tricky play right there, especially when everyone's all on the floor like that. They call it out of bounds there on Tobias Cameron.
I give Dixie credit. They have done a good job of trying to match the energy and hustle and everything that of Abilene Christian. Schofield, no. Rims off. Steele with his 5th rebound.
Water's definitely getting a bit testy here. Emotions are up, going into the postseason. A lot on the line for this Wildcat squad.
Cameron, tough shot. Well, I mean, you'd think these are like two longtime rivals. They're playing for the second time ever. Daniels hits a three. Oh, and a foul.
Tobias Cameron was on the ground.
Well, Leader's the one who got talked to earlier, and now a foul on him after the made three from Daniels.
You know, we are playing basketball, but there certainly is a lot of extracurricular activities going on the court.
So here's the three. Do you see anything?
I see Tobias Cameron hitting the floor. The bench looks astonished, but they're happy with the call that they got. Leader again is taking that long walk to the bench.
Leader and Stain both take a seat.
And we mentioned before, Leader is shooting the three-point ball at the best clip on this team. Could be detrimental for a Dixie State comeback if he's not on the court.
He's also been their best rebounder. 6 tonight. Jay-Sean Jackson from distance. His first three, ACU's sixth, and they have an 18-point lead.
That was a smooth shot by Jay-Sean Jackson right there.
8-0 run in 50 seconds.
Wildcats kind of earned the authority to slow things down on offense as they try to slow Dixie State down on defense.
Schofield, that is not close. Now Schofield, and one again for big number 44. His three was well off. This time he attacks the fouls on Cameron and a chance for three.
With all the bodies hitting the floor in this one, you would think the score would be like a 1 or 2 point deficit, but Dixie State is down but not out, and they're letting the crowd here in Teague know it.
There have been 32 fouls, and we've got 13 minutes to go. Final Thursday of the regular season. Simmons, extra pass. Back to Simmons. Oh, and he couldn't finish. Put back, no good. Third chance. Stolen. Dixie State somehow won the possession. Pope fouled. 2 free throws. This thing is getting intense.
Free throw line seeing a lot of action tonight.
This might be the most loose ball, scramble play, hustle, foul, chippy. I mean, all of that. I've not seen a game like this in quite some time.
I think you're watching the 90s Pistons if you didn't know any better.
It's Detroit and Chicago back in the day. Subs in for both sides. Gilbert and Edmonds in for Dixie State.
Yeah, like you mentioned, these two teams, only the second time they're playing each other.
Ever, yeah.
New to Division I is Dixie State.
Second year, Division I. Their last time they made a trip to the state of Texas was right before the pandemic hit. So they haven't returned to this state since.
Maybe taking out some of that pent-up aggression.
Now they'll play a lot of Texas all the time, where the WAC has got a heavy footprint in this state. Daniels baseline. Simmons caught it on his hip. Mason's put back, no, but he'll shoot 2.
And the Wildcats have done a great job so far offensive rebounds. We mentioned this in the first half, but this is a team that is detrimentally undersized, but they are still getting those rebounds, still getting those second chance points as we see Corian Mason take a trip to the line.
That's 13-0 boards now for ACU. And this would add to their 16 second chance points if Mason were to connect. Southland Conference third teamer a year ago. All defensive team. Figure quite a few of these Wildcats will probably be on that WAC all defensive team. He has given ACU a 15-point lead again. Coming down the stretch, 12 minutes to go tonight.
Dixie State still sticking with it barely, but they're going to have to do more than that if they want to get back in it.
Loose ball out of bounds. It goes sends us to a timeout. ACU needs a win and a Utah Valley loss. So far, so good on the front end. They lead by 15.
The world needs more light bringers and courageous leaders who inspire us, game changers and risk takers who never play small, creative thinkers and God seekers who uplift us. You see, the future is ours to create. We hold it in our hearts. We mold it with our hands. We light the fire within.
I am a wife and a mother of 4. I work a full-time job and do catering on the side to help our family make all the ends meet. For years, I've dreamt about finishing my bachelor's degree, and I finally found ACU Online. The core values of the school really lined up with my faith, and I'm telling you, it is the only way I can move forward with my busy schedule. It's possible. You can work and get your education. ACU made it possible for me.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
In my small town, we focus on faith, family, and football. My journey of faith has defined who I am and whose I am. Knowing that, what could possibly stand in my way? I authored a book titled Life After Grace to encourage others to live out their purpose with their faith. I'm just a small town girl with bigger than the sky dreams. That's why I'm getting my degree online with ACU.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
There's a peek behind the curtain, the ACUTV studio. Hutton Harris, Will King, the entire gang. Emily Schaefer in there as well, directing our traffic here tonight. And how about some of the folks manning our cameras? There he is. There's Caleb Evans running a baseline cam. Ari Womack down there on the baseline as well. Our entire ACUTV student run crew. So glad to have you with us tonight and all season long. Terrific job for WAC Hoops on ESPN. This is a 3. It is no good from Brock Gilbert. Out of bounds it goes to Abilene Christian. Zach Carlisle along with Cohen Carpenter, Coy Oslin on the broadcast team tonight. As ACU goes for win number 19, their 10th WAC win. They need a win and a Utah Valley loss to Grand Canyon tonight to try to move up into the 6th seed of the future WAC tournament coming up next week. Big game tonight for ACU, and right now the 15-point lead.
And they're going to need that bye week if they continue to plan on playing defense like they are here tonight.
Simmons on the attack, fouled by Trey Edmonds. I was curious how ACU would figure out the height of DIXST State. There is a ton of length on the team. ACU's handled it great with that switch with Steele and Simmons being out there. He's been in a little foul trouble tonight, but ACU's handled it really wonderfully.
They've done a great job. Even had Uwat Guy in there for a short stint. They've done a good job of matching height with height, but kudos to Cameron Steele having one of the better games of the season, offensive and defensively, especially when you're putting him on the leading scorer for DIXST State. He's really shown what he can do.
Simmons pushes the lead to 17 for Abilene Christian. Nichols was pressured. Gilbert with Miller defending. Got it into Edmonds. Winding his way through, and he could not convert it.
And if you're Edmonds, that's one of the most clear shots you've had all night. Got to make that land.
Somehow they get it out to Morris. Morris had 12 at halftime, hasn't scored yet in the second half, out of bounds, and it's heading to DIXST State.
Kai Morris on the ground there, a couple of dolphin dives, forced the ball out of bounds.
How many times have we seen 2, 3 bodies on the floor going after a loose ball tonight?
It's been a highly contested matchup. Refs have probably played a bigger role in this game than both of the coaches would have liked.
Yeah, because you're not sure how much they let go and how much they don't, you know, and it's really hard to adjust in a game like that. 35 fouls called. They've let a lot go, though, to be honest. As much physicality as we've seen.
Definitely could have called a lot more, but even with the lenient calls, still 8 to 6 fouls respectively.
Simmons bumped here. Trey Edmonds, Joseph Chapa dressing up for camera duty tonight.
Definitely getting the Best Dressed Cameraman Award today.
Folks are wondering, didn't we just see him in the studio at halftime? They did. Tell you what, he moves out from the halftime studio and hops on the camera. I tell you what, we've been busy this year with all of the games every Thursday or Wednesday and every Saturday with the way the WAC schedule is set up. Simmons got it. On the move.
Big 23, the freight train with the steal and the slam.
He's good for one of those a night, isn't he?
Arion Simmons is electric. Our impact player certainly making a big impact right there.
Gilbert backdoor. Trying to get Muli Bea involved. It's a foul. Let's see some thunder from big number 23.
How does a guy that big have that much speed?
Well, the camera moves a little bit there on the backboard. He is deceptively quick.
You can say that again. He's really deciding to test the backboard, test the strength of the rim here on the final few games in Teague.
9 points and 4 boards. He's been battling some foul trouble, just 18 minutes tonight. 21-point Abilene Christian leading now. Simmons has double figures.
Oh, and hits him with the small after that.
Beautiful lob pass. Gilbert lost it, and it's Simmons on the floor. 23's having himself quite a couple of minutes here. Morris, smooth in transition. 25-point ACU lead.
When this offense gets momentum, there is not much that you can do to stop it. They were playing like this in the first half. The only thing that stopped them then was halftime.
Now it's all defense. Morris 2 more. Officially out of hand. Timeout, Dixie State. All ACU right now. Well, it's been all Abilene Christian, the defense to offense, Makai Morris, and all of a sudden it led to a 14-0 run for ACU, and they've got a 27-point lead over Dixie State.
27-point lead with 22 turnovers. Almost had themselves another one right there. Schofield a bit slow to get up, wincing, but walking it off.
Keeping our eye on this game inside. That is an and one for Nichols. Grand Canyon's got the early 7-point lead. ACU fans are Grand Canyon fans tonight because the Wildcats would need a win and a Utah Valley loss to slide in to the number 6 seed. So we'll keep our eye on that as we go. And one chance for Jacob Nichols, the junior out of Arizona. Three-point play to stop the bleeding. But a 14-0 burst for ACU.
That timeout that Dixie State was crucial.
Morris getting aggressive here in the second half, and a foul on Simmons. That'll be his 4th. Take a look at the bracket. This is what it would look like as of right now. ACU would be a 7 seed playing Chicago State. Grand Canyon right now the 5, Utah Valley right now the 6. But if ACU were to win and jump, they would be exempt into the second round. That's why this game means so much.
And it's only one day off in reality, but like we've said before, if you're playing defense like the Wildcats have played defense here today, that one day off is crucial.
Free throw no good from Nichols.
Yeah, but like we were saying before, that timeout by Dixie State was really much needed. Like we were saying before, when the Wildcats were getting on the run in the first half, the only thing that stopped them then was halftime when they started getting that head of steam, taking that timeout, kind of slowing the bleeding down. But with 8 minutes, they're going to have to do a lot more than that.
And now Abilene Christian sits at 7. Right now in the full standings, here's Steele. I thought he was going to pop a 3. Mason will. Ball out of bounds to Dixie State. And that'll take us to a timeout. We'll talk about Dixie and Tarleton in just a moment.
There was a good save on that play there by Reggie Miller. Ball would have gone out of bounds. Gave it to Cameron Steele, just couldn't get a hold of it.
Well, and so one of the things I'm thinking about here, so in the full standings, Dixie State would be number 9 and Tarleton would be 8. However, those two are ineligible next week for the WAC tournament. So you pull those two out and you insert California Baptist up to 8, UTRGV up to 9, and Chicago State up to 10. That's what it holds as of right now. So these are your 2 first-round games if the season ended today, which obviously it doesn't. Utah Valley currently the 6th, playing Grand Canyon tonight. But those could switch, and 1 through 5 could all switch depending on all of those outcomes. Sam Houston at 13 and 5. New Mexico State, Seattle U, SFA, and Grand Canyon can all still win the league. It is a ton to be decided here in the final 2 days.
And like we were saying, this is mid-major basketball. This is the WAC Conference. Coach Brett Tanner was talking about this in the last press conference he held. Is in WAC, anyone can beat anyone. And right now, there's a shot for 6 teams in WAC to have a 20-win season, which is incredibly impressive. And like you mentioned, the top 5 teams in the WAC Conference are all looking to be tied for that first seed spot. So coming down into crunch time in these next few games, it's going to be crucial going into WAC Vegas.
Yeah, there's a chance everybody could finish 13 and 5, and then it would come down to net rankings to decide the order 1 through 5 there. Wild stuff. And it's all going to come down to that final day, Saturday afternoon. There's going to be a bunch of games to keep your eye on. Abilene Christian will host Tarleton, and Dixie State will head to Grand Canyon on Saturday. And then next week, it's the favorite time of year, those tournaments in March leading up to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, these games that we're playing right now may not specifically be labeled the playoffs, but they are just as important.
Pope to Schofield, another no, I thought it was a charge. It's a blocking foul. It's on Emmanuel Allen of ACU. And free throws are coming for Schofield. That could have been his 4th. Instead, it's on the defensive side.
That's what it looked like, and looks like Schofield almost stopped when he saw Emmanuel Allen, gave him a little bit of a shove, and then took the shot. But then again, you know, we aren't the refs, and they saw something different.
What do we have here?
Whatever it is, it's received a few jeers from the crowd.
They're counting the basket. It's an and 1.
Wow.
Schofield, they're going to give him this.
So they're saying he got that shot off, huh?
So they're 1 calling it a defensive foul, which that didn't look like it was a defensive foul. And 2, they're counting the basket. Interesting situation there. Steele's got it in the paint. Turnaround, no. Tapped back and in. Working hard, number 5 inside. He loves playing Dixie State.
He loves playing Dixie State, and he loves guarding Schofield, which has not been an easy task for nearly anyone in the WAC so far this season, but Cameron Steele's done a good job of it. Let's take a look at this play. Bop, bop, back in.
Steele's got 35 points against Dixie State this year.
That is something else. Cameron Steele back in the starting lineup for this one. Obviously, Coach Tanner recognized that streak of dominance.
Mulibia now into the corner. Schofield leads Dixie with 15.
Schofield does lead Dixie in points right now, but as we mentioned before, Steele's done a great job of kind of slowing down his offensive performance to a degree, kind of closing down the paint to him at times.
Tobias Cameron offline on that three. Stolen away. Interesting note on Tobias Cameron, his family in town to Abilene, Texas to watch him play college basketball in person from New Zealand for the first time in his collegiate career. The senior for Abilene Christian playing in his final week of the Wildcat program. Him and Damian Daniels do have the option as seniors to come back for their COVID year if they so choose. Lob inside, too wide and out of bounds.
That's definitely going to be an interesting one-on-one conversation that I'm sure Daniels and Tobias Cameron are going to have with Coach Tanner after this season. Do you come back? They obviously mean so much to this Wildcat squad, so it's going to be interesting to see how that all shuffles out next year.
Yeah, you never know what year anybody is anymore in the league. You know, when you look at a roster and they're listed as a freshman or a sophomore, you don't know if that's a first year, second year. You could be a who knows anymore. Everybody's got that extra year, and we're going to have that for a couple more seasons for sure. Morris.
And especially in the age of the transfer portal, there's never been more fluidity in college between rosters.
Well said. Hope with the board. Turnover number 25 for Dixie State tonight. Cameron's fouled. We mentioned they turned it over 27 times on the 1st of January back in St. George, Utah when these two teams got together. ACU won that game 64-50.
Only scored 50 in that contest, so they're doing marginally better in the way of scoring. However, they've done a lot worse in the way of defense. 73 right now for ACU.
Tobias Cameron, the redshirt senior. Started at ACU in 2017-18 season with a red shirt. Played in well over 20 games each of the last 4 years. Was in the starting lineup 9 straight times, and then they made the switch tonight to put Cameron Steele back in to the starting 5. Cameron comes off the bench. He's having himself 19 minutes of game action, couple of rebounds, couple of assists, a few points, doing a little bit of everything.
Tobias Cameron, rather, one of the grizzled veterans on this squad.
Into the corner for Gonsalves, back out, it's Leader. Gonsalves fakes, takes, long two, no good. Frank Stain rebounds. Feeds, layup, no good. Trevin, all free, couldn't convert.
And that offensive possession there, I think, is really characteristic of what we've seen from this Dixie State offense all night. You had an open shot at 3, just couldn't get it to fall. And then you go up, you're in the paint, you have a rather good look trying to get that to fall, miss again, lose the offensive rebound. And just really what's happened all night is the ball's not gone their way multiple times.
Morris lines one, no. Pope for 3. Dixie State is 4 for 16. From 3. Miller, Cameron, no. Well, you can see that building from about half court.
And he's had a few of those electric dunks this season.
Stays at this end and a timeout on the floor. Abilene Christian with a 24-point lead on their way to their 19th win of the season. Taking a look at what's coming up, 5 big ones on the docket on Saturday. Chicago State and Seattle U. Seattle U trying to play for a title. Tarleton and ACU will have that one Saturday night on ESPN+. SFA and UTRGV. GCU playing for a title as well. Sam Houston has Saturday off, so they finish at 13-5 in league play. They'll sit and wait and hope for a couple of teams to lose, and we'll figure out all the seeding for WAC Vegas after Saturday's games. Stain for 3, no good.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, it's not technically the playoffs yet, but it might as well be, because all of these games mean so much in terms of positioning and who's going to get ranked where and who gets bye weeks.
7 through 10 played day 1. 5 and 6 get a first-round bye. 3 and 4 get a 2-round bye. Morris is fouled. And then the top 2 seeds are exempt into the semifinal. So that, 1 and 2 is not so much the difference. Now, if you finish 1, you're the regular season champion, and you get to wear the ring and get the banner and all that. But when it comes to the seeding, 1 and 2, no different. 3 and 4, big difference. 5 and 6, and then 7 through 10. 5 rounds in Vegas next week. Meanwhile, Mekhi Morris is having himself a fantastic night. 17 points for the senior. He's looked great tonight.
Especially with 3 fouls to his name, hasn't slowed him down one bit.
Coy talked about it earlier that it's his first double-digit game since Lamar on January the 29th when he had 17. He's now got 18 tonight. Keeping our eye on that game on ESPN+, 26-20, Grand Canyon in front of Utah Valley. Again, ACU wants a win tonight and a Utah Valley loss to move up into the 6th spot in the standings. 2:45 to go.
Reggie Miller going to get called for kicking right there, but didn't look like there was much he can do. Ball just kind of got dribbled off of his shoe.
WAC standings, and again, just to reiterate, these are the top 10 seeds. We know the teams, we don't know the order. And so that'll be the question going into that final week. ACU currently the 7. That's a 3. It is online from all 3. And again, 1 through 5 could all shift by the time we're done.
It's so highly contested up in those ranks. Obviously, you got 3 teams with 13, 1 team at 12.
This league is incredibly tough.
Anyone can knock off anyone, that's for sure.
Jay-Sean Jackson. Foul here.
Faraha Kadode-Du was fighting for the rebound down low in the paint, but couldn't come away with it.
He's the one that'll be called for the foul. Kadode-Du, the junior out of Rwanda. And this will be free throws for Dixie State and Jacob Nichols.
Nichols took a hard fall there, but going to walk his way to the line, take a few shots.
Well, I'm curious to get your thoughts on next week. Obviously, Abilene Christian's got one more. They've got Tarleton on Saturday to close out the regular year. But if they happen to climb up and get a potential 6 seed, even if they're a 7 seed, the way this team plays, it feels like it's going to give them a chance each and every game up there in Las Vegas. They're going to be a dangerous team at that conference tournament.
A really dangerous team, and we've seen it here tonight, just throwing their bodies at the ball on defense, just really putting in outstanding effort. If you're Coach Brett Tanner, you've got to love what you're seeing all around. And we mentioned this before a little bit, but there's been great production all around on this roster. Arion Simmons was our impact player, but he's not leading the team in scoring. You've got all these different players who can put up rebounds. We've seen Cameron Steele put in a lot of work here tonight. We've seen Mekhi Morris. We've seen Corian Mason taking a few charges, getting to the foul line. Great all-around effort, again, by this Wildcat squad, and they're going to need more of these games if they want to go far in WAC Vegas.
Kadode-Du, baseline. Way up behind. Nice feed and finish. Mark Hatch, the junior out of Mesa, Arizona.
How about that lob right there, right over the head of 2 Wildcat defenders. Threading the needle. Oh, there's Uwat Guy getting in on the scoring party here tonight.
First field goal for big number 34, stoppage and a travel. It is a Or is it a stoppage for a sub?
Well, ref looked like he signaled travel.
Yeah, and then it makes me think that he just did the substitution. Timeout. With 1:17 left.
19-point game.
So now the focus will come from here, and a foul here. Now the focus will shift to Abilene Christian fans in particular, paying attention to what happens in Phoenix tonight between that Utah Valley and Grand Canyon game.
Utah Valley and Grand Canyon right now in the standings coming into tonight are neck and neck, 5 and 6.
And it's
like
a big
we mentioned before, it means so much.
And it means so much to both because Grand Canyon's still trying to play for a potential regular season title. Nichols, good there. The easiest route to a regular season, there's Coy, our sideline reporter tonight, hanging out. Fantastic job from him all season long. And I tell you what, the easiest path to a championship is New Mexico State to win Saturday. If they win Saturday, they're the 1 seed. So that's the most cut and dry part. If they lose, then it gets a little wild. We'll have all that on Saturday night. Should be a fun time dissecting all the scenarios. 8 to shoot it. Here is Jackson. Floater. No good. Final 40 seconds.
And the lowest ACU can get on these standings is 7th place, so they're pretty locked in as of right now.
Nichols for 3. Yeah, they can't get lower than a 7 and they can't get higher than a 6, but the difference between the two is so big.
Constituting that first round bye. And some more rest for Brett Tanner's squad. Game's winding down to a close here. DIXST State is,
and it's still physical,
not letting up.
Oh, do-do-do-do. Exclamation point, the bow tie.
Cherry on top.
All of those cliches that we trying to throw out there for you. 3 at the buzzer, that's no good, and that'll do it. And Abilene Christian does their part on the final Thursday of the regular season to get win number 19 on the year. They're 10-7 in WAC play. DIXST State falls to 13-17, 6-11 in league play, and an 80-64 win for Abilene Christian tonight. They looked really great from the opening jump to the Wildcats.
And they looked all around, defense to offense. They're going to need a lot more of that type of play if they want to go far in WAC Vegas. Every guy giving 100% on defense. And obviously you say that about every team, but this is the one team where you feel like they realistically could have every single guy on the court given 100% on defense, and it leads to turnovers and it leads to points.
How good was Makai Morris tonight?
Makai Morris was great, leading the team in scoring. He did great on defense as well. Shot the ball from all around, and he's, again, one of the more potent players on this Wildcat squad. Player of the game for this today.
18 points and 6 rebounds, and Makai is working his way down through all the fans and the media, and he's going to join us as our player of the game, Makai Morris. 18.6 boards, ACU's 80-64 winners. Makai, congratulations on the win here tonight.
Thank you.
Well, how big was this one to come back home, your final 2 games in the Teague Center to get this win over DIXST State? How big was this tonight?
I mean, I think it meant everything to us. Every game, we take one game at a time, and every game is big, so we can't move on to the next game without preparing for the first game that we had to get through today. So today was actually a big one for us.
Everybody talks about, all right, here's what you need to have happen to do this and the seeds and all that, but it doesn't matter if you don't win the game here tonight first. And I know your team always talks about taking one game at a time, don't they?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, how about offensively tonight? 18 points for you in the way that your offense played off of your defense. How'd you feel about the way your team played tonight?
I think everybody played comfortable, and that was the main thing coming into this game and coming into every other game. Just everybody just being comfortable and letting the plays come to you. Nobody forcing anything, and I think that's what happened today. I just shot the ball when I needed to, and I got to the basket when I needed to. I just made a play as the game went on.
But DIXST State, they come in, they pose some challenges. They've got a lot of good players and a lot of height. Cameron Steele comes into the starting lineup for you guys today. How'd you feel about the way your big guy played inside?
Cameron played great. Before he wasn't, when he got out the starting lineup, he still was playing great. It's just the coach liked to switch it up, keep everything fresh. So for him to come back and the way he played today, it was awesome.
One more game in the Teague Center on Saturday. What are the emotions that you think about when you think about playing one more here at home?
It hasn't really hit me yet.
Yeah.
We talk about it a lot, but I try to not to think about it because I know I might get emotional or I might get too emotional. So I haven't really thought about it, but yeah.
Big game on Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Makai, we appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win
Thank
here
you.
tonight. Makai Morris, ACU, our player of the game for the Wildcats. 80-64 the final. It's been a presentation of the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. We'll see you next time. So long. Take care. Good night from Abilene, Texas.